Actually, I started in the real estate business about 25 or 6 years ago. I was in the aviation business, and through circumstances, I decided I needed a change. And I took about 6 months off to try to decide what I would do with the rest of my life. And one thing led to another, and I met an old friend of mine, Normie Williams, who was a long-time broker, and he said, "Gee, why don't you get your real estate license?" And I just hemmed and hawed, but wanted to keep myself busy, and so I took the course through USM, and it just clicked. I started in 1985 in real estate, and never looked back. I raised my family living in Yarmouth. It's been a good life. Real estate was just my niche. I enjoyed it. I do enjoy it still, and it's been fun. About 6 years ago, I was representing a buyer, and Chris Lynch had purchased a property in Cape Elizabeth to resell, and I represented the buyer in that transaction, and Chris and I got to know each other, and one thing led to another. And during one conversation, I was saying that Sothebys, there was an opportunity for a Sothebys franchise here in the Portland area, and we pursued that. And January 1st of 2006, we opened up Legacy Properties, Sothebys International Realty, and there were just I think 7 of us at the time: Chris, myself, Diane Chevenel, Mallory Garrison, Philippa Morton, Bud Singer, and Barney Burrell. And Mary Jo Cross joined us shortly thereafter. But in that small beginning, when I look back at of the 5 or 6 years that we've been going at this, it's been a meteoric ride, far beyond my expectations of what we might become in that short time. Also my expectations of what Sothebys might bring to the table. Those expectations were beyond exceeded. What the doors they've opened, the opportunities that have been presented by Sothebys, and the recognition of the brand Sothebys has been huge. Well, Sothebys just cracks that door open. You certainly still have to present yourself and what you can bring to the transaction, but the strength of the brand, the international exposure, the international recognition, but you still have to support that and bring your own strengths and your own local company strength to that transaction. But Sothebys is an instant recognition that's just helped from a standpoint of pure exposure to the world of real estate. This all happened fairly quickly in a matter of months. That Chris applied for the franchise, and we had to come up with a name and a location, etc. And we brainstormed. I can't tell you how many names we brainstormed, but I wanted a name that did have a legacy, and it just kind of one of those things in the middle of the night said legacy, and then Legacy Properties, and then the part of our logo is the lighthouse, and which is kind of iconic of Maine. And we wanted something. We weren't just selling houses and sticks and stones. We're selling properties that have hearts and souls and do have a legacy. We wanted to take bits and pieces of how people run their real estate businesses and have the best agency in the state, and gather good people and have a culture that was supportive. There's very few closed doors, and people support each other. And we've been very successful in that, developing that culture, very supportive. Chris Lynch is different in a sense that most agencies, the owner in the store is out there selling and listing, so on and so forth. He doesn't do that. He's kind of the orchestra leader, and he very supportive. I can't tell you how many listing meetings that he's gone to try to get different brokers their listings and help them out and support them. And it's a very supportive position he's endeared through the company, and it's just a good group of people and very supportive. We have both Chris and I have taken a lot of time to help brokers in need when different things have come up, and we just try to be there. Certainly there are other companies that do a fair amount in the high end, but there seemed to be a spot for us. I think our average listing now is somewhere in the $900,000 range, and I think if we compare ourselves to other agencies, we're probably the strongest in the state in that market. In luxury properties, you know, just to pick a number, if you started in that 800,000 and up range, I think we've probably been the most successful in the state in that, say, $8 to $2 million range. We have offices in 4 locations: Kennebunk, Portland, Brunswick, and Camden. And it just transpired. I don't think when we sat down day one that we envisioned in 5 years it would have 4 offices. But it was fortuitous for us to be able to acquire a couple agencies early on, and which gave us a footprint. It's about 1,000 miles of coastline when you take from the Kennebunk area up through Camden, with all the ins and outs and peninsulas and so on and so forth. And so it allows us to expose properties in a wider range. Somebody may come into our Kennebunk office and be looking for a waterfront property, not familiar with Maine, but we can have brochures there of our Camden listings, our Brunswick listings, Portland listings, and not just promote the ones that they're in Kennebunk. It allows us a wider reach. Still, after 26 years in the business, it's a fun business, and I still do enjoy getting up and getting into the office early and interacting with brokers. Certainly there are days that you wish you were doing something different, but 99% of the time it's a fun business. It's a business where if you enjoy people, you'll enjoy this business. It allows us to take a young couple out and find the home of their dreams. And what I like to do is, my old mentor a long time ago, Peter Nastus, used to say the supermarket method of business. That did you want to be able to bump into that couple in 5 years and have them come up and say, "Boy, great, we love our house, we love the town we live in," and not have to scoot down another aisle. My partnership with Chris Lynch has been an amazing opportunity for me. Real estate is an individual business. We're all independent contractors, and so a lot of times the broker just goes in his office, does his work, goes home at night, and doesn't interact much with the rest of the agency. Here, I'd like to think we're a bit different. We're extremely supportive, and again, Chris has been the leader of that, and it's just been an opportunity for me personally that I just treasure. After 26 years in the business, this is the highlight of my career. And not that I'm ending it, but I'm still having fun at it. I'm 66 years old, and I can't see myself sitting at home with the clicker. My wife, who worked in the Yarmouth school system for over 30 years, came home after a school trip. Every year the school does these trips to France and Greece and whatever. She came home after one of these trips and said, "Do you know a Linda Schrader? I think she works for Coldwell Banker in Yarmouth." And I said, no. And she said, well, you really need to meet her. And I had been thinking of the time that I might need some help. I was busy. Chris and I were starting the company, but I was also busy in my own business, selling real estate. And so interviewed with Linda, and that was a little over 5 years ago, and it's probably the second most important decision I made in legacy. Number one is partnering with Chris, and number two is partnering with Linda. She's been my right hand and my left hand, and I don't know what I'd do without her. She's just been an amazing asset.